Hello everyone! One of the most unexpected news that came out of the Genshin 4.5 livestream was the introduction of a new type of banner called Chronicled Wish. There were some rumors about this type of banner roaming around for a while now, but I was quite surprised that the official details have already been announced about it for this next patch. And in my opinion, this banner is actually pretty good in some cases and an overall net positive, assuming people wish on it the right way and in the right scenarios. And this is coming from a guy who has played Genshin since launch and has never spent money on the game. So as a free-to-play player, pull efficiency and value is like the most important thing I constantly think about in gacha games like Genshin. And I still hold a relatively positive opinion for this banner, which I feel like kind of goes against the majority of the community sentiment at this moment. However, you need to understand exactly why and when pulling on this banner is good for your account, otherwise it will probably end up hurting you in the long run. So, in this video, I want to explain why I think this new Chronicled Wish banner is an overall positive for players and show you exactly when and why this is the case, because this banner does have some huge caveats that can easily trap the unaware. First, I'll quickly go over how this new banner works. There was an official post with like all the official details, but I'll lay out the most important details here. There's a select pool of characters and weapons you can wish from using the same face as the ones used in the limited banner. In terms of characters, only those who have rerun already 3 times and have not been on the limited banner recently can be in this new banner system. You can choose the one you want the same way you choose which weapon you want for a weapon banner. When you get a 5-star, there is still a 50-50 system whether or not you will get the chosen character or chosen weapon. If you choose a character, you can only get characters from the pool when you lose your 50-50. The pity is the normal standard pity for both characters and weapons, 90 hard pity, but with soft pity I like to consider as 80 wishes until the 5-star. If you pull and win the 50-50, great, you got your selected character or weapon. If you lose the 50-50, you get 1 fate point. This fate point allows the next 5-star that you pull, you get the one that you initially chose. Normal 5-star pity does carry over, but not the fate point, which is the most important detail. Now before I continue discussing this new system, one question I want to pose before you is, why do people play Genshin Impact? There are definitely many answers, such as the overall game aesthetic, the open world gameplay, and the combat system, and these are all great answers, but I think the one core reason uniting all the other answers that I think people play this game for are its characters. There is a vast character roster, each of them with unique stories, personalities, aesthetics, and playstyle, and inevitably, players will feel connected to at least one of them, if not several, and I think this is one of the things HOYOverse does very well. They are very good at designing different characters that make you want to like them, and once they get you, then boom, you are now a potential banner wisher. And here lies the problem. There are only 4 limited banners promoting 4 5-stars per patch, which is a month and a half. The main attraction is these 5-star characters, so considering there's only 4 of them per patch and only 2 of them are on banner at the same time, at this current rate it takes a long time for characters to go back on a banner for people to pull if they missed it the first time around. This new Chronicled Wish banner alleviates this, having another outlet for limited characters to be on banner, allowing older units who haven't been rerun in a while to be available sooner. This new banner system can literally just be thought of as another rerun banner, and to me this is pretty much an overall positive thing. People want to pull characters they like or for meta characters they don't have, but it can take ages for their desired character to be unbannered if they miss them, so giving them the option to pull them sooner is just good. For instance, just pulling is overall better for account progression as opposed to waiting several months to pull that one character you want and keeping your account at a standstill. Now they are able to put standard banner characters in this new wish system, which is typically not ideal because they are supposed to be the result of losing the 50-50, but this does provide a way for players to guarantee a particular 5-star standard character by choosing them to pull in the Chronicled Wish banner. Otherwise, you have to rely on getting them when you lose your 50-50 or pulling on the standard banner. For instance, I just recently got Dea and still don't have Tainari. Now you may laugh and ask, why would anyone want to do that? But there are people who want particular standard characters or perhaps want their constellations. This banner gives them a great option to guarantee pulling for them. Now would I ever recommend that, especially as a free-to-play player? Hell no, but it does give the option for people that want to do that, and more options is a good thing. So functionally and mechanically, the Chronicled Wish banner is just another limited rerun banner, so when is pulling for limited characters in this banner, for instance Klee, better than if she just had her own limited banner and you pulled on that one instead, other than the character rerunning faster? In my opinion, there are 3 main conditions you have to meet. Number 1, and this is the most important one, you need to be planning and willing to pull all the way until you get your desired character, which is someone you want 100%. You should be ready for the worst case, which will likely be 160 pulls for 2 soft pities. Because the fate points don't carry over, you have to get your chosen character for the new banner to be worth it. Number 2, the 4 stars in the normal limited banner are not useful to you. Because there is no mention of rate up 4 stars in the Chronicled Wish banner, it's safe to assume that the 4 stars you can get are just anything, while in limited banners there are 3 rate up 4 stars. Now if you don't want the rate up 4 stars, then the random 4 stars from the Chronicled Wish banner will likely be better. And number 3, standard banner characters are also not very useful to you, and you don't particularly want any of them. You may think that these are some steep conditions, but from my personal experience as a free-to-play, I feel like these situations are not that uncommon. If you have limited pools and want specific characters, in my opinion, the ideal scenario is that you should be planning for the worst case scenario and have 160 pools lined up at least, assuming 0 pity. This way you won't be put in the scenario where you didn't get the character, the banner ends, and you have to wait. I almost always have this mentality when pulling for characters I really want and try my best to follow it. However, I know that you won't always be able to follow this and have this luxury. In regards to the rate up 4 stars being not useful, this is especially more common for older accounts. With a larger pull history, more 4 stars that we have will already be C6, and thus having them on rate up is kind of useless. Of course, newer accounts won't experience this issue as much, but there still can be the case where the rate up 4 stars are either not that strong or not relevant to the teams they want to build. And as for the standard banner character condition, I think this is a very common consensus already. I think most people agree that, they don't really want the standard banner characters. With these conditions met, let's use this upcoming Chronicled Wish banner as an example to visualize why this banner can be better than a limited banner. So in this example, let's assume that we really want Clee. We have 160 pools lined up for we're ready to go all the way. None of the 4 stars on a limited banner, or if she was in a limited banner, would be very interesting, and we don't really care about the standard banner characters. Well, in this case, if I pool, win the 50-50, great. I mean, there's no difference, right? But let's just say I lose the 50-50. Well, if I lose the 50-50, I can lose the 50-50 to Mona, D-Luke, and Jean, which is a normal standard banner character, but I can lose the 50-50 to Eula and Albedo, which are 2 limited 5-star characters. And I feel like in most cases, people will agree that they will probably want to lose the 50-50 to a potential limited 5-star character. For example, if you don't have Eula and Albedo, but you didn't really care for them, I don't think you would mind just randomly getting them out of the blue if you were pulling for Klee, and when you lose the 50-50, you don't get any of the standard banner characters, you just get a limited character. That's pretty good. Now, yes, this is not a guarantee, right? There's 3 standard banner characters you could have gotten, but if we compared that directly to, let's just say, if Klee was in a limited banner, you lose the 50-50 on a limited banner, you're guaranteed to get one of the standard banner characters, and remember that last condition, you don't really care about the standard banner characters, and you would rather want perhaps a new character that you don't have, like Eula or Albedo. So in a case like that, which may not be as uncommon as you think, this Chronicled Wish banner is better than a limited banner. And this will be true even if there's just like one other limited character on banner and the rest of them are standard. Now let me give another example that is both meta related as well as relevant to all kinds of players, from free-to-play players, newer players, older players, and whales. We will assume a leeway-centric Chronicled Wish banner with the following eligible characters. They may follow a theme since the first one only has Mondstadt characters, but we don't know for sure, so this example will be theoretical. Let's just say you want to get Yelan. You could be a free-to-play player who is dead set on getting their first copy of a strong meta character, a dolphin wanting C2 Yelan, or a whale aiming for C6. Well, if we meet all the conditions, you're dead set for pulling for Yelan, you're going all the way, and if there was a limited banner, the 4 stars you don't care about, and you don't want standard characters, then this banner is pretty good for you. There's only 2 standard banner characters in this arrangement, and there are 4 other limited characters that you could potentially lose your 50-50 on. Again, this is not guaranteed, but if you are pulling for copies of Yelan on a limited banner and you don't really care about the 4 stars, then why not take the chance of losing the 50-50 to Ganyu, Hu Tao, or Zhongli? Those characters are overall much more valuable than just getting a standard banner character that you will probably not want. Now you could say, oh, they're not going to put Zhongli because she's an Archon, but like I said, we don't know for sure. And again, they could just put more standard banner characters in the arrangement. But the point I'm making here is that in these scenarios, the chance of losing your 50-50 to a limited banner character is actually very valuable. So in truth, this new banner system can be quite valuable in the right scenario, and this scenario, I would argue, isn't an extremely rare one. However, you need to meet the conditions that I outlined. Otherwise, the majority of the time, pulling on the limited banner will be better for your account. The big reason being that the Chronicled Wish banner is only good for getting older characters that you really want. Genshin will always be producing newer and more enticing characters, and you need to pull on the limited banner for that. And inevitably, these new characters will generally be stronger than the older ones, have different playstyles, or just look better in general. We've already been seeing this with Fontaine characters. So especially for newer players who don't have that much connection with characters and are fine with anything to get started, pulling on the current limited banner will overall be better. The desire to pull for newer, future, and upcoming characters is a huge driving force for Genshin, so allocating your pulls for newer characters is quite important. So let's go back to the Klee example that I was describing earlier, and let's just assume that Klee is in a limited banner. And this time, I still want Klee, but I don't really want Klee to the extent that I'm willing to spend all 160 pulls to guarantee her, because the next character that's coming out, Arlecchino, is the real character that I really want, but I wouldn't mind getting Klee in the middle of that process if I win the 50-50. So I pull for Klee on the limited banner, I lose the 50-50. Oh well, right? But because I pulled Klee on the limited banner and I lost the 50-50, my next limited 5-star character will be guaranteed the advertised one. So if I pull for Arlecchino, it will be guaranteed. This is something you will never get if you pull on the Chronicled Wish banner. And let's change the example a bit. Let's just say we're not pulling on a rerun character that's supposed to be on the Chronicled Wish banner. Let's just say we're pulling on the actual new character, Arlecchino. And unfortunately, you didn't get her. You didn't have enough pulls. Oh well, you lost the 50-50. Well, maybe in the future, there's a rerun of a character that you actually want. Or maybe in the next patch, there's another character that you want to pull. You may have spent pulls on Arlecchino, not gotten her, but you have saved up pity so that your next character that you pull on the limited banner will be guaranteed. The ability to save your guarantee on the limited banner is huge, especially when you can't guarantee a character and are left with a lost 50-50, which is very common. This benefit of saving pity is also very important when considering pulling for 4 stars, which in my opinion is very important for account progression. To show an example focusing on only 4 stars on a limited banner, I'm going to use the second half of the patch 4.5 banners as an example of my own personal account. So in the second half, we're going to have Neuvillette and Kazuha rerunning. Now I already have both of these characters and I don't want their constellations because in the next patch I'm saving for that character, which will likely be Arlecchino. I really want her. Now we don't know any of the 4 stars on any of these banners, but let's just assume for the Neuvillette and Kazuha banner that the 4 stars are Chevreuse, Kirara, and Kuki. Now in my case, I already have C6 Kuki, she's useless. I don't have Kirara yet, and I have C0 Chevreuse, but I wouldn't mind getting constellations on her because her C6 is quite powerful in her teams. Because I'm currently 0 pity from pulling for Shen Yun, if these are the 4 stars of this banner, I would definitely just pull on these banners. I think it is actually very beneficial, especially if you're at 0 pity, to pull for beneficial 4 stars for your account, even if you don't really want these 5-star characters. People may consider that as building pity and that's bad, but because 4 stars can be very powerful for your account, you can't really just ignore them and hope they are on the banner that you really want. Because for example, I definitely want to pull for Arlecchino, but it is no guarantee that her 4 stars on her banner are going to be that good. It could be that all 3 of them are absolutely useless to me. So if I could just pull on that banner, I'm not getting any value when I'm pulling for the 4 stars. But if, for example, I just pull like 50 or 60 times on this current banner and I get copies of Kirara, Chevreuse, that is way more valuable than spending 50 banners on Arlecchino's banner and just getting random 4 stars that I didn't really want. In my opinion, pulling 4 stars like this is actually really important for account progression, and you can only do this on limited banners because of the ability to build pity. So because of this ability to build pity for newer and future characters, which is a huge concept for account progression in Genshin, pulling on the limited banner will usually be the preferred choice. I've heavily focused on the character side of the Chronicled Wish banner. There is also a weapon side, but pretty much all the ideas I've already explained are the same, with a few differences I'll quickly note. Mainly, the regular pity of the weapons in the Chronicled Wish banner is higher than the normal weapon banner, but its guarantee is lower. In this new system, it's 80 soft pity, thus about 160 pulls guaranteed, and in the normal weapon banner, it's 70 soft pity, which is about 210 guaranteed because you need 2 fate points for the normal weapon banner. I believe the average number of pulls for your desired weapon is similar between both banners, but personally I think the lower guaranteed is better. Regardless of this, however, whether or not the normal weapon banner is better than pulling on the new banner for weapons heavily depends on if the normal weapon banner is good. There have been several weapon banners with 2 good 5-star weapons, so you would rather have the chance to get either, but there also have been examples of 1 good one and 1 completely trash one. In addition, the 4-star weapons on the weapon banner can be very good, such as Favonius weapons or limited ones like Xiphos, so pulling them instead of just random ones that you get in Chronicled Wish because there's no rate of 4 stars will probably be better for account progression. So with that, I think I covered everything I wanted to about this new Chronicled Wish banner. For what it is, I think it is better than many people may give it credit for. Focusing on characters, the idea of characters rerunning faster is just generally positive so that people can get older characters they want without waiting months, and if they have enough pulls to spend until the guarantee, they have the benefit of potentially losing a 50-50 to a limited 5-star character. Its biggest flaw is the inability to build any pity or pull any desired 4 stars in the limited banner, which is usually more beneficial beneficial because of the allure of newer characters and the strength of 4 stars for account progression. In the right scenarios, the Chronicled Wish banner can be good. However, for people who don't know the conditions like I've explained in this video, this banner will likely be a trap and hinder account progression by diverting Acquaint Fates away from the limited banner or pressuring people to spend if they didn't have enough pulls to cover 2 pities in the Chronicled Wish banner. Because in the end, the purpose of banners is to make people spend money. I will end with one last thing though. My evaluation of this new banner system is solely based on what we will be given. Obviously, a new banner system like this would be way better if there was another free-to-play currency or earnable currency that we could use for it, or if we were able to use standard fates on it. I completely understand the disappointment from the fact that this new banner system could have been much better and more pull friendly. I wish it was better too, like being able to use my almost 200 standard pulls that I've saved on something better, just hoping that they release something that I could spend it on. I just wanted to focus my analysis on what we will be given next patch, and hopefully I was able to properly explain the banner's pros and cons to you guys. Feel free to share your thoughts or ask any questions in the comments. Don't be shy to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.